You talk about a competitive maniac. I mean, that's who Joe Burrow is.
The entire drill is a drill that Coach Mick does. He surrounds the team at the end of a mat drill. You know, the whole team is watching, and he'll call two people up, and they'll go against each other. And he called Joe Burrow up, and he actually called a bigger body like up against him. And as you see, like his shoe comes off. He's fighting, like he started off and the guy was beating him, and he comes back and his shoes all off, and you can see the fierce competitor in him at the end when he beats the guy. You know, it's pretty hype.
Is that common for a quarterback to jump in and be asked to participate in that stuff?
No, but Joe a different dude.
The first time you got a chance to be around or meet Tua Tagovailoa, what was that experience like for you?
Well, he was just a young kid at the age of, I think, 8.5, 9, or whatever it was. He was getting ready for his Pop Warner game, came with his bottom pants and participated in our drills at a quarterback camp we have at St. Louis. So he'd leave his group, younger group, and just join the high school guys and through with the high school guys, and they're doing like 25, 30-yard outs, and he's dropping dimes with just all the high school and college guys there, and they all try to chase him away, but he's like one of those guys just want to compete with the best people, and that's been his mark ever since.
Coach, first question from me. When you think back to the first time that you met Justin Herbert or you'd heard of Justin Herbert, what was your first impression?
Well, it was a long time ago because I happened to coach with Justin's dad, Mark, years ago. But the first time I saw Justin in action, I was taking my son, who I think was in first grade, and we were walking to our baseball game, and there was a game going on. We're watching this game, and a kid lays down a bunt, and the catcher comes out, throws his mask off, bare hands it, pivots, and throws the kid out at first base. I mean, an unbelievable play for a high school kid. This is a first grader. And I asked somebody who that was, and they said Justin Herbert. So that was my first athletic side of Justin. Big school, that Sheldon High School is a pretty big school, and Justin was by far the best football, best basketball, and best baseball player in our school when he was there.
How did he earn the respect of his teammates quickly?
The biggest thing, I think that caught everybody by surprise. Devin White was chirping at him at practice, and Joe started coming back at him, and ultimately a guy who's pretty much just transferred in and has he had that leadership role immediately, and he showed he's not scared of anything, and Devin ultimately was doing it to make sure this is the guy that we want to play quarterback, and from that point on, everything just took off.
I think the best story of him and his leadership is when he first got to LSU. A lot of people felt some type of way when he got there because we had some quarterbacks transfer and stuff. So some guys felt some type of way, and we had a players only meeting, and he got up in front of the team and was like, "Hey guys, look, if I'm your starting quarterback, okay, but if I'm the second string, third string quarterback, I'm going to do whatever it takes to help you all help this team win football games. It doesn't matter if I'm starting or I'm on the bench. I'm going to give you all everything I got." And ever since that day on, everybody was like, "Okay, like we like him, and we're rolling with him from there."
What makes him so special?
His leadership, and his work ethic. Just staying after practice and getting those extra reps, or meeting up on Saturdays and having more routes to run. So just him coming in and being that guy from Ohio, just not knowing anybody, and then coming in and running our team. So he did a great job in last season, and he brought us a national championship.
It's funny, so you talk about him coming from Ohio, not knowing anyone, but earning your respect. What was it about him? How did he go about earning you guys' respect?
Joe had that swagger, just that confidence that he had. And we were confident in him as well. So him every game just being focused and just not showing any fear, just not being nervous. That helped us out as a team, and just having that confidence with him and going into that game and knowing that he's going to put those throws exactly where you want them.
What makes him a special player? How was he able to kind of earn you guys' respect so quickly at LSU?
So when Joe came,
we had 2 other quarterbacks that transferred going in that fall camp, and especially just going into the season where a lot of things were changing for us. It kind of I wouldn't say divided the team, but it kind of put teams in wonder, put the team in wonder. But when all that was going on, Joe just talked to the team. This was, look, man, I'm not here to be anybody's competition, anybody's enemy, but I'm here just for you guys. I'm here for the same reason you guys are here. I want to win. I want to feed my family. I want to get to the next level, and I don't mean anything to any harm, any personal to anybody has any personal feelings towards me. But at the end of the day, I just met you guys, but you guys are my brothers, and I'm trying to do everything with y'all. I bleed you guys the same way, and when it comes to the weight room and on the field, Joe's one of the toughest guys, if not the toughest in the weight room and on the field. As far as when I say that, anytime anything's going on, let's say it's a physical fight between offense and D-line, Joe was head first trying to get in there. So when it just say he's all about us, and he's a brother, and no matter how many accolades he get, he's always been the most humble person possible.
I just be curious, the first time that you met him or heard about him when you're doing Alabama. I know there was a lot of hype with him coming in, but you had Jalen Hurts there. What was that? What was your first memory there of Tua?
That particular year when he came in as a true freshman, Jalen Hurts was doing a good job. I mean, Jalen Hurts was moving the team, winning games, put them in a position to get to a playoff. If you remember that year, they played Clemson in a semifinal and won the game. But if you really watch the game, they won it with defense and field position and special teams, had Clemson penned back with Kelly Bryant. Seems like inside their own 10 the whole game. And it was almost like the offense that year was just slowly losing momentum as the year went on, until here they got to the national championship and they're down to Georgia at halftime. Then, of course, the move that Nick made. But for me, to answer your question, I go to practice when I get, when we get on campus. I'll go to a Friday practice, Thursday practice, and always would get around the team and fortunate to get behind closed doors with Coach. And I've always watched the starters, but I always paid attention, especially in a case like with Tua, and the ball never hit the ground. Here he is, a true freshman, and he's got some ridiculous receivers. And man, when he came in, you could almost just feel the receivers just like, here we go. We got, because Jalen can throw it, but the accuracy that year wasn't there. And so I'll never forget, man, the day before the game, closed practice in Atlanta at the Dome, and I was allowed in, and they did a 2-minute drill at the end of practice, and the first team offense goes against the first team defense. They kind of struggled. First team defense got them off the field. Coach Saban, he's upset, and he goes in after Hurts, and it's just boom, 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 boom. Ball never touched the ground. It's the day before the game. Touchdown.
Coach, one of the things we love talking to people about quarterbacks is because all those great ones have that special competitive gene that they just seem to possess. Was there a moment in his career, maybe it could be on the football field or any sport, where you realize, man, okay, this kid is ultra competitive?
Well, he had a real bad injury when he was a junior. He broke his femur, his upper leg, in our first league game.
Whoa.
And yeah, it was a terrible injury. And that would have been September, and he played in a basketball game before Christmas break was over.
What was the first time you saw Justin on the basketball court, and what were your impressions?
I actually got to see Justin when he was younger in middle school playing, because his older brother Mitch played for us here, and so I was always checking in on the younger crew when they were playing, and so I got to see him in 7th and 8th grade. And even then, he was you could see he was a real fluid, smooth athlete, competitor on the floor, and just he had that body that moved, that you're like, this guy's gonna have something special for him later on athletically. And so anytime that we'd scrimmage in practice and we were trying to keep the teams fair, I'd have to stack the other team, whatever team he wasn't on, just to try to keep it close, and somehow his team would still end up winning most of the time. So that was something. He's just a tough kid overall. He took an incredible fall in a game his junior year, got flipped onto his head, and it was a real scary deal where he had a real bad concussion. And just to see him come back from that and keep fighting and playing that season and the next season, was really impressive. I mean, it was a bigger hit than he's probably ever taken in football. And it was a scary deal at the time. I know it's scary for him, but for him to come back and keep competing when he was cleared and can fight the next year was pretty special to see in my book.
You compete in every phase. And with Joe, I see it. I mean, he got his master's. I mean, when you get your master's and you know you're going to the league, you're not doing it to further your education and set yourself up for success to go sell insurance down the road. Like, that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it because, well, if I have a chance to get my master's and no one else is, I want to do it.
I guess first question, we've talked about Tua in the past, but just the first time that you saw him, I believe, was at camp. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in 2000, I don't remember what year it was, May of an Elite 11 period. So before his senior year in high school. He went to an Elite 11 regional. I knew about him. I'd watched all his film. I had talked to Lane Kiffin about him, who was recruiting him at the time, and was obviously incredibly impressed with his talent, but also made it very clear. And there's a NFL, there's an Elite 11 documentary clip of this where I kind of call him out on not being disciplined and not really understanding the disciplines of the position. And I think it was really at that moment where he grew to trust me, because he went back for a month back to Hawaii, and his dad, who's a fantastic quarterback coach, really drilled some of the disciplines of the things I was talking about. When he came back in June of that year for what we call the Elite 11 finals, he had changed as much as any kid I'd ever seen change from the disciplines of the position. And then throughout that summer, when we coached in both of the finals and at the opening, you could see him. And this is maybe the best thing I can say about Tua. He's a one-rep guy. He can change in one rep. You can ask him to do anything you want him to be able to do. I've never personally seen a prospect as good as Tua. I think the kid is beyond special.
I don't know that, what separates him to me, like I always try and figure out what's the guy's superpower. If you're a quarterback, what is the superpower you possess? To me, I just keep coming back to that word twitch and the quickness that he has.
Because there's a lot of guys that are twitchy, but then they lack power. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guys that are powerful, but they lack twitch. Tua's the ultimate combination of both for me. I agree with you. He's one of the twitchiest guys I've ever worked with. One thing you left out there is his eyes.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think he has Russell Wilson type twitch in his eyes, where he actually sees things before they happen. If you watch enough film, especially anybody that's a film junkie out there, I know you can access a bunch of it. Watch the times he throws their deep over route. Mm-hmm. That's really what the deep over, the seam, and the rail shot are the three throws you'll see him throw through his college career, where he throws them before his eyes are actually there. But his eyes are so twitchy. But he has power, man. This is a Maserati. This isn't a Civic. He doesn't like to throw it hard. But when I want to get him to throw it hard just to prove a point, he can throw as hard as anybody. He'll throw as far as anybody. He doesn't need his feet right. He doesn't need it to be right for him to still attack any part of the football field you need to attack.
You step on that Oregon campus for the first time. When did you come in contact with Justin Herbert, and how did you guys develop the relationship that you have now?
Right when he got on campus during that summer, everyone kind of felt his presence, and honestly, no one really expected that. He was a smaller guy, not physically, but didn't have that many offers coming in, and he honestly came in that summer, started throwing with the ones, and he just kind of tore it up. So we kind of knew that he was a special kid right away, and yeah, I mean, it was just awesome to see what he's really turned into.
This kid is I'm not putting the Tom Brady label on him, but Peyton Manning, Tom Brady type. He's at the facility preparing on Sunday. They just won by 40 to get yesterday. He's on Sunday. He's there for 8 hours looking at the next game. They give him a test on Monday. Brady would give him a test on Monday because he got so much information into his mind on Sunday. And so that's the first kind of step of getting ready for Mississippi State or whoever they're playing is Monday. He's there. He's like a coach. He was a coach that played quarterback in his 5th year. He knew the answers to every question. And when you throw in his ability to work full field progression, he's just boom, 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 boom. And I don't care if you're a man, you're showing man, you're going to quarters, whatever you do. This guy was like, oh, you might give me once, but I'm going to get you the next time. I've never seen a guy with this killer instinct of wanting to not just beat you, but like steal your soul from you. Like he wants to God, he wants to ruin everything about you. And the defensive coordinator, like, he takes it so personally. The battle, that week's battle against whoever it is. And all guys are competitive. All guys want to win. But this guy, borderline, like, arrogant, borderline, like, man, were you okay as a kid? Like a mean dude in a good way. If he's your quarterback, it's great.
What was the trait that stood out to you coaching him? You know, what was it that made him different?
Technically, just the way he spins the ball. I mean, he's got that gift. You know, the way he spins, the way, you know, it comes out of his hands. Sometimes the ball just jumping out of his hand, and you know how he gets his fingers on top of the ball to spin, you know, almost half the football. That's pretty amazing, you know, to get guys to try and, you know, get that done. But he just spins it like really well. Just a gift. He could do anything he want to do with the ball.
Is there a story or an example of Justin's competitiveness? We see it out there on the field, but maybe how it's translated off the field in your realm?
Yeah, we hit heavy singles the last few weeks of summer training before we started camp. Max effort power clean is not something that I'm interested in seeing from a quarterback, because a position that's not known for contact. You know, obviously, like, you're going to take some hits occasionally, but the goal is typically to avoid it. So I said, hey, let's stay light today. Let's go 275, 285, whatever. Next thing I look up, you know, he's got 325 on the bar.
Joe, out of all the guys I've been around, is probably the most confident. However you want to score it, probably the most confident guy I've been around. If you can look under the hood and really determine how mature they are. And the case in point is, because you'd say, well, how do you know Joe's so mature? His life did not change in the last 12 months. It changed in the last 3. Because here's the deal. He was somewhat irrelevant, right? He's the quarterback at LSU, but he wasn't Joe Burrow, right? It's pandemonium where we're out here in Orange County. Literally, across the country, there's people freaking out when they see Joe Burrow. It wasn't like that. The whole season, he just got his master's. So he was going from the dorm room to the facility every day. He didn't even get a chance to experience all the crazy stuff that was going on and how big it was getting, really, until he got to the playoffs and the media stuff hit, and then the national championship and the Heisman and all that stuff. So really, all of this it's newer than everyone thinks. So when I say that he's as mature as anybody I've been around at this age, look at how he's handled it. He didn't buy into it. He hasn't gone off and changed a ton. He's just taken in what's happened, what's been happening around him, focused on the results of what's in front of him, and he just rolled for 15 weeks.
If I had to bring you into a team and let you do the presentation on, here's why Joe Burrow would be great for your franchise, how would you respond?
I would say he has a proven track record of dealing with adversity well. So with Joe, I would say that this guy handles adversity well. The whole Ohio State thing, he turned lemons into lemonade like we've never seen before, like 60 of them, right? And the other thing is that he did it not by running around and making plays. He did it by buying into a system and getting others to buy in. If you're picking high in the draft and you're trying to flip your franchise around, I wouldn't get the strongest arm in NFL history. I wouldn't get the fastest receiver in the combine history. I get somebody who can buy in, get others to buy in, and is ready for adversity.